Let's go.
Hello there, Hello there, my name is James Daniel Cooper. This is my final project, Ideas and Development. Well, it is. How this slide will help me explain what my ideas are for both of my ideas that I've got. My first idea is to basically look at. My first idea begins with me trying to draw a character, looking at multiple versions of a character. For example, the character I'm going to draw is Samus Aran from the Metroid series. I'm going to look at all the versions of her suit from past to present, and basically take different parts of them suits and combine them all into one to make them make a brand new suit, which references the old games and also references the past and all. But I'm also going to add other parts to the suit, which I'm going to add little other parts to the suit, which I'm going to add, which how I would think it will look like in the future. My second idea is basically. My second idea is with the character Link from the Legend of Zelda series, and the idea that I'm going to do with him is basically I'm going to have three boxes on the screen on my paper. On one side I'm going to draw there's an old version of him, for example one from Oracle of Ages or Oracle of Time. And in the middle one, I'm going to draw the present day Link. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do though. I might do the one from Twilight Princess or Breath of the Wild, the most recent game that's out there. And for the final box on the right, I'm going to draw my own version of Link, as I'm going to do with the Samus one. I'm going to draw my own version of him, and how I think he would look like in the future from now. And here's an example of what I'm going to do for the Samus drawing. This is Sonic and Amy that I drew a few months ago. The Sonic, I basically referenced all the old games that he was in. If you look here, I basically drew the hand from Sonic Unleashed, which is basically the Werehog's hand. I referenced that game a few. Oopsie daisy. I've referenced other parts of Sonic Unleashed with the spiked ear here, the black tips here, the ring here, which was part of Sonic's good friend in the cat, which is the thing on one of his quills up here is a reference to one of his characters friends in the game, which is called Chip. He basically is a flying dude. He's this big roughly, and he helps Sonic along his adventures in that game. There's another reference is to Sonic and the Black Knight, which is the gauntlet here, which he has on his right hand, and the sword right here. And there are other references. For example, Sonic Boom I had referenced with the cloth here, which he normally has wrapped around his arm or his hand. I don't know why, but I put it here just so it referenced the game. The extra quills here, which only the Sonic in Sonic Boom has, so I added them in. And I also referenced Sonic Riders with the glasses here and the shoe design that I looked at different shoe designs for the Sonic Rush part of the games, and these are the ones that I drew to reference that part of the game. And a subtle little nod to Sonic CD, I can't remember the full name of it, but it's from Sonic CD, one of the old games. It's a reference to Metal Sonic, for Metal Sonic's first appearance. So I added Metal Sonic's leg here, but with my own little tweaks, with my own little parts added on. For example, the gem on the part here, on the leg here. I stuck with the similar design to the Sonic Rush boot. Sonic Riders boots. but I changed them to make it look a bit more robotic. And yeah. Also, his right eye is a reference to Metal Sonic as well, because his eye is different. He's basically got a circle for an eye instead of Sonic's eye. And that's basically what I'm going to do for Zero Suit Samus, is basically take different parts of her suit and combine them all into one, similar to what I did with Sonic here, referencing all the old games. I also did it with Silver the Hedgehog, but he wasn't in that many games, so I just referenced 2 games that he was in. Same with Blaze over there. I haven't finished that one. I referenced Sonic 06, which Silver first appeared in, and I also referenced Sonic and the Black Knight that he was in. If you look in and I also referenced Sonic Boom with the Sonic Boom TV show, which he was in, with this little scarf here that basically blows off into the wind there. The little details here that I added were my own little details, were my own little things, to basically show what he would look like after a fight or something. So I guess you could say this is an example of past, present, and future. The same goes for Blaze, but I didn't really have that much time to finish her off. And here's what I'm going to do with the Link drawing, but this is a bit different. I did it a bit differently here. Basically, what I did here was I imagined a line down the middle of my page and drew one side of a wolf, which was a good side, because I got the inspiration when I was angry one day at school. I calmed down quite a lot, and I realised I was in a good mood, and I was thinking, wolves are basically, when wolves are threatened, they growl and all that. That's why I drew that side. But when after they've scared off their prey, they then calm down. So I basically did that. But obviously I'm going to do something different with the Link drawing I'm going to draw, because I'm going to reference all the past, present, and future. I'm going to reference it in past, present, and future instead of mood, instead of anger and happiness, or yin and yang sort of thing. I was going for this drawing here. I did something similar, but it was for when I was into a game called Splatoon. I was trying to fuse the Squid Sisters, which are these 2 here. I was trying to fuse the 2 of their head designs into this one here. As you can see on the mask here, this part of the mask is a reference to her, so her one's in a different design, and this one is a little reference to her. If you look here, the part on the very end is curved up. This part's curved down to reference both of them. I haven't finished it because I haven't come back to it previously. And that's the line that I was talking about, that I imagined. I did that one off. That one I did quite quickly. So, what equipment am I going to be using? I'll be using an automatic pencil, and to help me with the actual drawing itself, I'll be using a normal pencil and a graphite to help me with the shading and adding a bit of character to it. Well, a rubber to help me rub my mistakes out, and I'll be using Google Images on my computer to help me look up the versions of Samus's suit and the versions of Link. And I'll be doing all this, and I'll be doing the drawings on A4 free paper instead of A4, which is a new step because I've never done it on A3 before. Right. Here's the equipment that here's an example of the equipment I'll be using. I couldn't find the graphite, so I couldn't really add it up there. How will I plan it out? I'm not really sure how I'll plan it out yet. I'm probably just going to spend probably about. I'll probably just go right on into it as soon as possible, and not waste any time to do it. I'll basically start as soon as possible. Start as soon as I can. Do as much as I can every day and all that. I'll also have breaks in between I'll also have breaks in between how long I'll do it. And hopefully I'll have it done in about a week and a half or 2. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I will answer any of your questions now.
Okay, cool. So, if the actual drawings are only going to take a week or 2, what else are you going to be doing with your the time for the FMP?
Alright, I'll be coming back to the draw. We'll come back to. I'll take a bit of a break. For example, if I finish both of them in about. Alright, if I finished one, which will take. Normally with my normal drawings on A4, they take about a good week or two to finish. So if I did it on A3, it'll probably be a week and a half or two, just to finish one. So it'll probably take me about 2, 3 weeks probably, or 3 to 4 weeks probably to finish off the two. So if I, in my spare time, I'll come back to the drawings and add a bit more detail to them if I see so. If it seems that they need any.
What have you been researching as well? What have you been looking at for stuff like this?
I've been looking up game video. I've been looking up the games that the characters have been in. For example, Link. The one that I looked at Ocarina of Time to get the ideas for the Link idea, and the Sun's drawing. I got the idea when I was watching a playthrough of the first Metroid game that she was in.
Cool. Have you looked at, or are you thinking of looking at, concept art for games as well? So find out maybe who designed the original Metroid suit, who designed the new one. Have you looked at who those people are and what their work's like?
I have, but only on the old versions, not the more modern one, because there hasn't really been that many Metroid games until I think last year they brought out a new game. They brought out a new Metroid game called Metroid: Samus Returns, or something like that. The Return of Samus, I believe, and it's on the 3DS. But 2 years prior to that, they brought out another game. The first game of it, they brought out a demo of basically a sort of football game, which you had basically a suit and you basically had a blaster, so similar to Samus Aran's suit. But basically, it was a big bulky suit, and you had to fire the ball into someone's goal. But then when the full game came out, but that was only for a demo. When the full game came out, they basically then added missions and all that, but it was nothing like Metroid. It was basically its own little sub game, or it's basically like a fan game sort of thing. And they're in progress of making a new one called Metroid Prime 4, the one they've been working on for a bit.
Cool. Okay. Anything else?
And that's basically it, I guess.
Okay, good stuff.